Scott Welch, Muscle Insider Magazine, and Andrew Bukowsky, Muscle Insider Magazine. We got legend of IFBB Pro Bodybuilding, Shawn Ray, and the Mutant CEO, Jim McMahon. How are you guys doing today?
Very good.
Doing awesome.
Okay, well, listen, I mean, I've seen this schedule. Obviously, you guys are going all over the world from Columbus, Ohio, then over to Birmingham for the Arnold Sports Festival, UK. Then we had FIBO in Cologne, Germany. What is next on the travel schedule? I mean, I know Sugar Shawn, you're all over the world.
Yeah.
What is going on there?
Well, right now, in the next week, as a matter of fact, Tuesday, I fly out to Hawaii, lock in the host hotel for the venue at the Ala Moana Hotel. Host venue is going to be the Hawaii Convention Center again for the third year, and pass out the posters to all the gyms, the trainers, the shops, and the stores, and start getting that going for the marathon run, which will be about a 5-month run to November the 16th out in Hawaii.
So you're flying back and forth. How many shows do you do in Hawaii?
Well, I got to get out there maybe 5 to 6 times before the show. Okay. And then, of course, I'm actually there for the show. And I get out there a few days early to make sure everything's working in synchronicity. And then I stay 2 days after just to kind of detox. But Hawaii is a great place to have a show. It's very expensive. It would be a lot easier if I did one here in California. But I had a very strong relationship with the 2 promoters that are passed on, Dot and Mitz Kawashima. I've been following their lead. Bodybuilding was kind of dead and dying over there. And to bring athletes from the mainland, Chris Cremier, Breon Ansley, Danny Hester, Andrea Shaw last year. She's also our featured performer this year. They really have a strong appreciation for it. It brought back classic pro physique, women's bikini, women's pro wellness. This year we're bringing men's physique along with pro bikini. So it always excites me to do something that hasn't been done. And to get the feedback from the audience makes me kind of constantly step my game up to keep giving more. So I've given out better awards. I brought in better personalities. I brought in motivational speakers, and it's exciting, and it's paradise. So I don't mind the travel over the Pacific Ocean, but when that's all done, said and done, I'm still kind of an ambassador traveling the world like Joe and Ben Weider used to do way before me, way before we had social media. I'm not alone. I mean, Jay Cutler and Kevin Lavroni, and they're out there doing the business of bodybuilding too. And at the same time, being an ambassador for Mutant, where I go, Mutant goes. So I'm constantly knocking on gym doors and promoters' doors, spreading the generosity of what we have at Mutant to make sure that people that don't have access to it get exposure to it. And that's a whole nother challenge for me, wearing a different cap. Going to promote my show is one thing, going to represent Mutants another. And then I MC shows around the globe. I do seminars and guest appearances. So I stay busy, which is why I stay in the gym.
You know, it's interesting because when you guys originally had signed, Jim, when you originally signed Shawn, you know, there were some haters in the industry saying what they'd say. But when you talk about a brand that's in over 100 countries and they're strong, or bodybuilding strong, and have the legacy that they have, it was kind of a perfect fit because obviously, Shawn, your career has expanded so many generations that are there. And Mutant, obviously, Jim, you've been in the game for so long as well that you built your brand and built your connections around the world. I just thought it was really interesting to see them kind of fold where Mutant was, Shawn already has been, and there was connections in the Middle East that was opened up through him, and just the ability for it just seemed to be a natural fit, you know, with what you're trying to do with growing the sport of bodybuilding and the camaraderie, which we've touched on previous episodes.
Yeah.
But I thought that overall, with a brand as big as you guys are globally, that and a celebrity as well known as you are, Shawn, I thought that marriage was a really well thought out, smart move.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Shawn and Ian Bell were the ones talking, and they presented me the idea, and the idea was the no-brainer. But I remember saying to Ian, and he may have repeated it to you, Shawn, before we signed everything. It was like, hey, it's not the cost of Shawn Ray being here. It's the cost of publicizing and advertising and doing all the other things that come with this responsibility of having athletes. And our attitude in Mutant probably isn't the same as a lot of others, because our Mutant attitude involves a lot of, you know, double middle finger sometimes. And this is what we say to trendy crap. Screw your trends. And we don't want to be trendy. We've been around for 28 years too. 28 years. So You know, if we want to do trendy crap, we might not have done stuff with Shawn Ray, but we screw you and your trends out there, everybody. Like, it's meat and potatoes, it's chicken and rice, it's consistency and discipline. Hello. And Shawn,
Pretty trendy, Jim. This flag.
yeah.
Flag.
Hey,
Pretty
you got to
trendy.
whip up a little attention once in a while. You just can't sit back and be chicken and rice all the time. You know, you got to have a little fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I appreciate the sentiment there, Scott, regarding Mutant and Shawn Ray coming together. Because again, it's OG camaraderie, and I do this with haters. I go, screw you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry you have a sad life. You have to be a hater.
Yeah, and in my role, Scott, I'm not sure if you know my history, that after bodybuilding, you know, I was a commentator literally throughout my career. And you're going to ruffle some feathers when you speak your opinion. And we are living in some very sensitive times with social media. Not everybody's ready to warm up to hearing cold hard truth and very objective opinions, criticizing, which is what they hire me for that. I get paid to give my opinion. And with social media, it's very easy to kind of snap back. But at the end of the day, I do the business, man. I'm out there. I'm putting those miles on. I'm knocking on doors. I'm doing the business of marketing and promoting. And there's a reason I'm around for 40 years. There's a reason why Joe Weider kept me on board for 18 years with a 1-year contract. And working with Jake Wood, going on my 4th year, and also now with Jim for 3.5. It's one thing to hear things about someone. It's another thing to know where they come from. And
Yeah.
I come from that cloth of being a missionary for body. I love the sport of bodybuilding the same way as Jim. We took different paths, but we wound up at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. And you don't have to agree with everybody. I don't agree with Shawn Ray all the fucking time. Let's be blunt here.
Yeah.
And I've never shied away from it. And Shawn doesn't need me to pump his tires either. So I go, you let everybody walk their walk on the planet, and you don't judge another book by another person unless you walk a mile in their footsteps. And if Shawn Ray says something to piss me off, or if I say something to piss anybody off, who gives a crap? You don't throw away camaraderie and friendship just because of what somebody said. Who gives a crap? So whoop-de-doo. Don't throw people away. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
But that's not a sentiment a lot of people share anymore these days. It's
That's sad.
almost like it's
Sad for them.
a society of like on to the next one, right?
Yeah, sad for them. Like, again, I don't want to be angry at people. It's not my, it's my shtick sometimes. But in my heart of hearts, I feel bad for people that hate, or feel bad for people that just, man, they just spew so much anger out there, and it is spill over here, spill over there, and we all know what we're talking about. So I go, just don't judge other people, man. It's pretty. The way I try to make a little light of it, Martians are going to land on your Earth one day, or some other, extraterrestrials, and they're going to look at all of us warring over our own planet, and they're going to, man, that planet was easy pickings. There were a bunch of dumbasses down there on Earth.
Yeah, divided. It's not good.
Stupid.
Earth. So we're obviously going to be moving over to the Olympia this fall. I think it's the October 13th, 14th, around that time, depending on when you arrive. I know we know Shawn will be there sooner to warm it all up and get it all going, whatnot. But what has Mutant got planned for the Olympia? We don't want you to give away any secrets here, but I do say that Stack 3D, I had been corresponding with Shane Smith in advance of this and saying, we're both really curious. Is Mutant going to come out large and in charge now that the show's back in Las Vegas?
I cannot confirm or deny. Anyways, yeah. So booth boss George and I, and then our branding guy, and who a lot of people know in the industry, and so we've got in cahoots something pretty big that I've never seen done. It's fun. Again, we want to bring the fun factor. And we were talking to Olympia boss Dan Solomon just the other day. So because what we want to bring in as an additional feature to what we do, we needed his blessing and stuff like that. And we got to figure out some logistics. So yeah, we're bringing some extra fun and bringing some extra heat. But so is the Olympia. I can't I don't think we're allowed to divulge a couple of things that we already are aware of. I'm not sure if Mutant's going to participate in everything, but I'm thankful that the Olympia is coming back to Vegas. Nothing against Florida, Okay, nothing against Florida. Remember that. I said it. Nothing against Florida. I'm thankful it's back in Vegas because brands can now plan a little bit better. There's more to go do in Vegas. There's that. But when you bring it back to what I call the home of the Olympia now, and it used to port around, it wasn't always Vegas for the first 59 years, which by the way means this year's the 60th.
Yes.
So once in a life opportunity for a 60th anniversary. Hell yeah, that's going to be a party. We kind of know what Jake and Dan are doing with the Olympia. Of course, there's going to be the VIP after party, which is always legendary anyways, but there's something new they got planned and I can't divulge that. So yeah, we're thrilled. We're going to be there. It's going to be louder than what we probably did even at the Arnold's. You never know.
Yeah, and it's all documented. They're not showing the documentary that they're filming right now because they're going to include the 60th episode, I should say. That weekend is going to be part of the documentary that's under construction. A lot of people think that there's going to be a film shown there. It's not. It's coming out in 2025. It will include the festivities, which we're going to be a part of that entire 60-year journey, according to Dan Solomon.
I love it. And
Oh,
there you
yeah.
got it, a fresh scoop there that the fans will know about, a documentary in muscleinsider.com. Now, Shawn, on the obviously you being the legend that you are within the competitive side of things, what are we looking at with the showdown? I can't obviously going to have to ask for early predictions on some of the jockeying that we're sort of seeing with Derek Lunsford and Hattie coming off the Arnold win.
He looked good.
What's the storyline looking like? And Samson Dowdo now getting the anabolic chicken over in the Middle East.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here?
There's a lot to speculate on, man, because again, Derek won the Olympia, but did he unanimously run away with that title? I mean, Hottie won the Arnold Classic and served notice, right? And Big Samson is Big Samson with this new anabolic oxygen gym thing. That could be a blessing or a curse. We don't know. It's a gamble, but it's one that is going to make things very interesting come October. Listen, when you're the defending champion, you automatically have the inroads to retaining the title. But recently, the title's been changing hands every single year. Is Derek beatable? Yes, Hottie proved that the year before. Can Samson leapfrog over both of them? Yes, if he dries up. So there's going to be a lot of questions answered that weekend that I don't think no matter who you're cheering for, you're in Vegas. It's going to be a scary bet to go put that money down on that one sure shot, which typically is the defending champion. Hottie's coming back to regain his title. And there's nothing worse than somebody that's lost it trying to come back and get it again because he knows what it meant. I mean, Hottie is a national treasure over in Iran. That did for his life and his lifestyle and his family being the number one bodybuilder on the planet. So he's thirsty to come back and get that show. And look, you could have flipped a coin and he could have been Mr. Olympia last year. So that title is very, very close. Wow. And Samson is the X factor because I think he's the best of the three. But it's a timing situation and he's going to have to nail it right on the head.
Yeah, he seems to have an issue these days bringing the conditioning. And
yeah,
I think if he can bring in the conditioning to that level or at least close to Derek and Hottie, then he has a shot. But I don't know, when you see Hottie come to both those Arnold Classics, he was proving a point. So it's going to be exciting to see him back on the Olympia stage too.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to get some interviews with the athletes on the run up to the show to see where they're at on my journeys as I run into the guys and get some exclusive Muscle Insider interviews with them to get that Olympia content. I want to make sure I put everything I can towards the 60-year running up to the show as if Joe and Ben were alive and have that same passion because this is a huge milestone. You know, I have my 40-year high school reunion coming up in August, and I looked at the people that aren't going to be there that are gone before they can ever celebrate that. I'm looking at the 60 years. This has to be huge. I've been to 36, 37 Mr. Olympias in a row consecutively. This one's got to have my fingerprints on it in a way that I can contribute. And being there with Mutant and being able to get the media from Muscle Insider puts me right where I need to be. I'm excited for this year.
And we won't I mean, it would be silly if we didn't bring up the 212 Olympia title. We hope to get a Mutant athlete bringing back the title there. Let's talk a bit about Sean Clarita And I mean, you saw the video footage in Dino's gym where he was just cranking out the rep after rep after rep, as was Andrea Shaw from Mutant, and the whole gym was just screaming and shouting and cheering
Yeah.
on, and the posing that he was doing as well. So let's talk a bit about that.
Yeah.
Shawn, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know it was awesome, but I want to share something that people don't know or don't get a chance to see is the behind the scenes stuff. So at last year's Olympia, I had Shawn #1. And Shawn Ray and I and Ron, we and Dusty, we always talk about, you know, the front thigh, like when you're split right up to the hip, that's hard conditioning to beat. And I was staring right backstage, side stage as well, and I was like, Shawn's got this.
Yeah.
I was actually even more confident about Shawn than I even was about Andrea. And you know how confident we all are about Andrea.
Yeah.
And so I was shocked and not pissed off, you know, congrats to everybody. But yeah, I felt for Shawn. And so backstage, the look on Shawn's face, you know, he wasn't sad or, you know, you know, I won't put words in people's mouths, but what I saw was a hunger that was, you knew this hunger was going to come out. Like there was a response just bubbling up inside. He wasn't mad or anything, you know, you couldn't see it, but you knew it was going to come. That's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
We are seeing him train like a freaking demon. And I texted him, like I said the other night, doing some cardio. Hey man, I'm sharing the sympathy pains with you. I'm doing the cardio right now. Oh yeah, he's coming.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a showdown.
Yeah, and that show, the 212, is a two-man show because Keon is everything and then some. The question is, can he do it again? Whereas we know that Sean Clarita can, and he has. He's a two-time champion. So the weight of the crown for him isn't as heavy as it is for Keon because Keon's got to try to replicate that, and he knows exactly who he has to hold up. I had Sean winning after prejudging too. But by the finals, it could have gone either way. I know Clarita's going to do everything he can do to replicate what he did when he won. So I'm excited to see both of those divisions. Of course, I have Andrea on a runaway. Yes, I have Sid Gillen winning what, number 7 or number 8. I also believe that I think Natalia Coelho can hold on to that women's physique championship over Sarah. Sorry, Sarah, but it's a close show between those two. But I think Natalia is very well put together. On the women's bikini side, I think they're all champions. The women's wellness, they're all champions. That's where I'll go with that. I can't get criticized for that. But there's so many good, that men's physique competition, man. There's no stronghold on that men's physique title. And the classic physique, listen, Bumstead is the epitome of the classic physique champion, but he's battling injuries. He's aging up. He's got a kid. He's got all these opportunities. If there's any room for an upset on that Olympia weekend, I'm looking at that classic physique because it's getting tighter and tighter with younger guys, more hungry guys. And Bumstead is really going to have to hunker down and train cautiously. If he's not cautious, he could take himself out the same way that Nick Walker did a year ago.
Yeah, and yeah, there's some new talent in the classic division. Holy crap, we saw that at the Arnold's.
Yeah, like being backstage and even interviewing Wesley Vissers after he won. That was a sight to see. And you know, it's weird, like you talk about Chris and where he is in his life now, and he's even said he's not that guy that's looking to chase 9 titles. So it makes you wonder, like, where is his mind at? Is he, you know, I know he says like he's still going as hard as he can, but is this going to be the last one? And is this the chance that Wesley knocks him off and then we see Chris take an early retirement? I don't know. I think this will be an exciting one. I mean, I know even going into it, everybody's talking about Chris and Ramon, and then Wesley just came out of nowhere. And I see some of his, you know, off-season photos now, and he's just looking like a beast.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I think that'll be an exciting one to see too.
Yeah. You know, C-Bum's got to be careful here.
I think it's interesting to see that the move at Arnold. Obviously, you guys are huge supporters of both the Arnold and the Olympia, but the Arnold's stepping up the prize money. And then we're obviously everyone's watching the Olympia to sort of see what will they do. Will they try to match that, or how will that all work together? But in the end, like Mutant, we talked about in an earlier episode about the camaraderie. I think that this brings the bodybuilding community together, gives more opportunities for athletes, which I know, Shawn, you were instrumental in pushing Joe Weider and Ben Weider to try to get more for the athletes over the years. And it seems like now, with the prize money continuing to go up and up and up, and brands like Mutant stepping up and being a huge part of the Olympia, that there's never been a better time to be a bodybuilder and make a huge amount of money to, to obviously make a career of it than there is today.
Yeah, 100%. I'm still arguing the fact that I think there should be more given to the lower side.
Yeah.
I don't like to see the rich get richer just because we have so many repeat champions, right? I don't want to lose our lower guys trying to work their way up simply because there's no meat on the bone when you get past 5th or 6th place. It would have been nice when we heard about Arnold throwing 200,000 to first place. Maybe throw 100,000 to first and break that other 100,000 up among the 2nd to 6th, for example. And I would love to see the guy that's like in 10th place get a check instead of only the top 5 guys. So there's some disparity going on there from the cheap seats. When you talk about giving the athletes more money, I'd like to see some of it have the trickle down effect because we have to be more inclusive. Otherwise, what you find, you're going to find these athletes going, oh, that guy's in the show, well, then I'm not going to go and compete.
Yeah.
We don't want the athletes looking at the roster, picking and choosing their shows based on who's in it. Every time I was going to the Olympia, I knew Ronnie was there. I knew Dorian was there. I knew Kevin and Flex. There's nowhere to go. But those times have changed. And now these athletes, they build their social media following. They get involved in other things. They have choices to sit out and not compete because it's financially not worth it in terms of the prize money. So I hope that the promoters are careful to be mindful that, yeah, more prize money is important, but you got to make sure you take care of the guys that are in the middle and some of the guys that are trying to get in there and not just take care of the guys at the top.
Well, one of the other things that we bring, and I just naturally thought a lot of brands did this, and I learned, sadly, some of the brands just don't do this, and we incentivize Shawn and Andrea with bonuses. If you're gonna do better in a show,
get rewarded.
Yeah, it's a win-win-win way of looking at it. And that's another reason, how we roll. So, win-win is important for us. So yeah, if Andrew's going to do better in a show and Shawn Clarita is going to do better in a show, then we're happy to give them more money as well. And so it's an incentive as well. So I don't know if other brands, I don't know if it's, the best system. For us, it works. Everybody likes it here. And if it's a system that does work, then maybe other brands, should think about doing that as well for their athletes. I'm not judging. I'm just throwing it out there.
So what's the rest of the year looking like? What's the travel schedule like? What do we got? Obviously, Olympia is going to be the climax, but I think, Shawn, you mentioned you've got some other shows that you're going to be doing near the end.
Yeah.
Where will we see Mutant
So when I come back, after I plant the seeds over there in Hawaii to get things kicking off for November, I'll come back here. And July the 20th, we have a huge expo in Sacramento called the Evo Sports Expo. We also have in August the Fit Expo here in Anaheim, right down the street from Disneyland. Those are big nutrition sports expos that are there, as well as in Dubai. We have the Dubai Pro. I'll be out there twice this year for Dubai Pro, 3 times. Dubai Pro at the end of July. The Beanos Classic, September 6th and 7th, the day before my birthday. And then again in November, we have the Dubai Muscle Show. And they're all 3 very different shows. Dubai is really stepping up their game in terms of bodybuilding and fitness and men's physique. So it's kind of like how Gold's Gym used to be the place to go back in the 90s. A lot of people, including your boy Samson, is now going out that way to work with the guys in Kuwait and also over in Dubai. So Dubai's they're really stepping up their game. Outside of that, we do have some shows that are going to be here in Southern California that I'll be making appearances at along the way.
Yeah.
And Mutant Nation will be there. This has been great catch up. Everybody go check out IamMutant.com to follow all the action. And obviously on Instagram, we've got the Mutant CEO, and then it's Shawn Ray IV Pro. Oh, we got the box. We got the box. Yes. I love it. I have got one here too. I have to thank Big Jim on this one. This is just awesome.
You got to have the box.
I'm curious, Scott, to hear what you call that product name, because again, it's only spelt with an FK at the end. So it's up to debate what you all want to call it. So I'm just curious what Scott Welch
It's
calls it.
Mindfuck, of course. It's Mindfuck.
There you go.
Yes.
Mine's mine.
There.
Yes. I'm using the like Ron Partlow. I'm using like the ESP.
Let's show them. Let's show them what's in it.
Right over.
There you go.
It is.
Yeah,
There's the collection.
box was awesome. Yes.
Very nice.
I mean, shameless plug, Scott, and Andrew, if you don't mind, other than what the product is, I would like to just speak to one point, because Scott, you and I both get this question a lot. So why don't we just add a little rip off the Band-Aid question about paraxanthin and things, just be real fast, and then go. It's an unsung hero of an ingredient. It's a far too often misunderstood ingredient as well by far too many people who are getting it, kind of incorrect. And again, the simple thing that both, Euphoric from Muscle Tech, and then Mutant Mindfuck, the parallel kind of products. And Scott, thank you again for your knowledge on this ingredient. And you and I both kind of laughed. You and I had that Word document like back in 2010 about paraxanthin. We laughed about that. But yeah, this is the caffeine metabolite, everybody, and it's clean energy. And it's not the only ingredient in Mindfuck. We got 23 grams of badass stuff in there, and so the paraxanthin comes along in for the ride. But if you want to try something seriously trippy nootropic, and you're going to hit the gym, because you know how it is, man. In the sets, weak minds die. And like Tom Platz famously keeps saying, every set's got the potential for 5 more reps. And it's always been a battle of mind over matter. So don't choose to be confused, everybody. Don't choose to be confused. It's that simple. So this is not, a power stim, because on leg day, you don't want to be stimmed out of your gourd anyways. So this is all about mind over matter. So everybody keep it simple, stupid, sexy, smarty, and get your mind fuck on, because weak minds die in the gym.
Definitely. All the fans, check out IamMutant.com. You can get Mindfuck. You can get all the different products out there that Mutant puts out. Some great stuff. And just keep following along the Mutant Nation. Thanks so much for taking the time to sit down with us today, guys.
Thank you. Absolutely. And for inviting us. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, you guys.